Hello and welcome to Digesting the Soul. In today's video, I wanted to share several buying tips for CBD oil. So if you've already done the research on what CBD oil is and you've read about the numerous potential benefits it can have and you've decided you want to try it and you're about to make your very first purchase, then this video is for you.
Turn around and show your face. Let me see parts of you. Oh my, our bodies interlace, slow and easy. And I can reach you from a distance. I can, so beautiful. I can hear you within the silence. Ooh.
So the first tip might be pretty obvious, but I felt it was worth mentioning just to explain the difference between hemp oil and CBD oil. During the extraction process of hemp oil, they are only using the seeds, and that's why you'll often find it in foods, in moisturizers, in eco-friendly paints, and as well as biofuel. During the extraction process of the hemp plant for CBD oil, they're using the leaves, the stalks, and the flowers, and that is ultimately what gives its medicinal properties. So as you go out to make your first purchase of CBD oil, you're going to see that some of the bottles are going to define themselves as full spectrum, and on other bottles there'll be no mention of this. And what full spectrum actually means is it's referencing the extraction process regarding the plant of its compounds. So in full spectrum, they're extracting the CBD oil from the whole of the plant. Think of it as whole foods. Where the other type of CBD oil that's most common is isolate, where they're just simply extracting one compound from the hemp plant. Now, the compounds in hemp are called cannabinoids, and there are over 100 of them. So CBD is simply one compound within the hemp plant. So if you were to look at the long list of over the 100 compounds, you would see things like CBE, CBG, CBN, etc. So CBD is an isolated compound from within the hemp plant. And since CBD is new to the market, there hasn't been a whole lot of research on the pros and cons of full spectrum versus isolate. So there is no research to date that can definitively say which one might be more effective for you. Now, once you understand those two differences, you're also going to see that a lot of the CBD oils are flavored and some are not flavored. And the rule of thumb that I've experienced is that usually when it's a full spectrum CBD, it is unflavored, which means you are going to get the taste, like the hempy plant taste, the raw taste. Whereas if you're buying the Soul isolate formularies, there's a wide range of flavors. You can get mango and grape and strawberry and ginger, lemon, and also like mints and chocolates and things like that. Now it's good to know that the CBD oils always have a suspension oil mixed in with it, and so the most common that I've been finding is coconut oil. It's usually flavorless, and the other one I've seen is grapeseed oil as well. And the particular type that I really like, because I'm using CBD oil for sleep, is considered a tincture because it also has additional herbs. So the one that I use has chamomile, it has lavender, and I believe passion fruit mixed in with the coconut oil and the CBD. So when you've understood that, the next decision that you're going to have to make is you're going to see that some of the CBD oils define themselves as nanoparticle. Nano, and then some of the bottles will not define themselves like that. And so what is Nano talking about? Bioavailability, or plain and simple, it's talking about the absorption rate. How fast is this CBD oil going to enter your bloodstream? So Nano being like minuscule, it has a faster absorption rate. So on average, a nanoparticle CBD oil is going to enter your bloodstream within 3 to 7 minutes, whereas standard CBD oil, the absorption rate on average is about 30 minutes to get into your system to feel any effects. So this is something that you should consider based on why you're taking CBD oil. So for me, I'm taking it for sleep. Knowing that I have 30 minutes to wind down until I want to go to sleep is perfectly fine. But if you are taking CBD oil because you have chronic pain, or maybe you suffer from anxiety attacks, then having a fast-acting CBD oil might be something that you're going to want to consider. And the price is sort of nominal. It can be $5 to $10 higher just from the prices that I've seen. So if you've got all that down, I think the next thing is the most tricky, and it was what I didn't understand until a clerk at one of the CBD oil dispensaries explained to me. So as much research as I did, which I realized was more about what CBD oil is and what it can do for you, I never really researched in detail the buying effects. And when I got into the store, there were literally hundreds of options. And the first thing I noticed was the most common size right here for CBD oil is 1 fluid ounce or 30 mLs. And they always come in dark glass bottles, and they will have these little droppers here. And what I noticed was they ranged from about 100 milligrams as far as up to about 6,000 milligrams. So I had initially made the assumption that the 1,000 milligrams must have been per dose, and a dose would be obviously 1 full dropper. So I thought every time I took a full dropper, which is 1.0 ml, I thought I'd be getting 1,000 milligrams of CBD oil. That is not the case. And so what they had provided to me was a really great dosage guide. And at the end of this video, I'll put a picture of it up close so you can take a look at it. And basically, this guide is about the average dosage. So if you buy a bottle like this, I have a 1,000 milligram bottle here, then the average full dropper is 33 milligrams of CBD oil. So that's good to know. If you were to start as low as 100 milligrams, there's only just over 3.3% of CBD oil per full dropper. If you went up as high as 6,000 milligrams, then it's going to have 200 milligrams per dropper of CBD oil. So it is something that is important and that you're going to want to know, especially as you're taking it for the first time. And you're going to have to slowly start with a dose to see how much you're going to need to take. So the higher the milligrams, then the actual less you're going to need to take over time when you figure that out. But the milligrams is definitely going to affect the cost of the CBD oil. Obviously, if you start with the lowest 100 milligram bottle, that is going to be around $20 to $25. And if you go as high as the 6,000 milligram, that is going to cost you somewhere between $350 and $600. So I've kind of stuck with 1,000 milligram bottles, and they range anywhere between $50 and $85 depending on where you purchase them. So the one thing about some of the brands to know is that not every brand has a dropper. I don't know if you can see this. Not every brand will have a dropper that actually has the dosage markings on them. I found this really, really useful. I did a very scientific research where every night I noted the date and the time, the amount, I noted the effects, and that's how I gradually increased my dosage. But some subsequent other brands that I bought did not have those markers on there. So just be aware of that. And not every brand also came with a box. This brand came with a box, and in 30 seconds it said that the absorption rate into your body was 30 minutes. They were very upfront about that. And then it told me per dropper, I was going to get like 33% per dropper. So I really enjoyed that. I bought a 2,500 milligram Nano CBD oil, and it didn't come with a box, and it didn't have any other information on it. So just be aware of that. So the next thing that kind of leads us to is pricing. And as I mentioned, pricing is going to have to do with how many milligrams the bottle is that you get. And what I found out over kind of trial and error, I originally made my first purchase at a CBD oil dispensary. And there are a lot of pros of doing that when it's your first time, because obviously you can go in, you can look at all the products, you can ask a lot of questions. They're very, very helpful. And they're going to have a wide selection as well. I do like to support local businesses, so that was a plus. And the other is that, you know, I could have it immediately. I could wake up in the morning and go, I want a bottle, and I would have it in my hands. The other is I could just pay cash, didn't need a credit card, and I didn't have to wait for it to show up for a week in the mail. And I happen to live in a state where, excuse me, CBD oil is available, but it's not legal in every state. So that's, you know, something else to consider. But what I ultimately found after I bought several bottles and found the brand that I liked, I had just gone online to see what were the other sizes and flavors that this brand sold. And when I happened upon the actual website, I realized that the same exact CBD oil was running about $20 to $25 cheaper than what I had paid. So not only was the everyday price on sale, but everyday price lower than the dispensary, but they are also running a sale. So even with the $5 shipping, it was still $20 to $25 cheaper. So I think once you've determined what brand you like, what dose you need, definitely go online and try to go directly to the website of that specific brand and see if you can get a better deal. So I think that's about everything. Hopefully that was very clear for you, and I'm certain that it's going to be helpful. I didn't know anybody who had taken CBD oil before, so I had to do all of this research and experimentation, you know, by myself. And I have been using CBD oil for the last 3 months. I'm just going to be closing out at the end of August, so in September I will be putting out a video on my experience using CBD oil for sleep and go into greater detail, the brands that I use, how much I needed to use, what it felt like. So come back to my channel and look for that video in September, or hit the subscribe button, and once that video is uploaded, you'll be notified. So as always, I'm wishing everybody great health and all the best, and I will see you in my next video.
If we stay together, we will be alright. You need to move closer, dear. Destiny is all